Hey everybody, welcome back to JC Unplugged. We're on episode 6. I'm Adam Rush, one of Carlos's trainers. Let's just remind everybody what this is that we do, JC Unplugged. You have 90 seconds to answer questions that we get from your Facebook fans as well as the IHP staff. And it's kind of a rapid fire. You got 90 seconds. Sometimes it takes you 30, but you have 90.
And we're trying to keep it to 2-syllable words.
Okay, are we ready?
Oh.
Ready?
Yes.
Go.
Go.
Okay, here we go. Question 1. What role does eccentric training have in a program, and when in a program should it be implemented?
Eccentric training gets implemented the first day if you're doing a full repetition. So the eccentric training is loading during lengthening. So where does it play? It plays everywhere. Everywhere there's a full range, or even any range of motion, whether it's partial range or full range. Pure eccentric. If you're doing a pure eccentric with more than 100% of your max, now that's very advanced training. That should be left towards the end of the strength phase. So typically when you're talking eccentric, it's just not an eccentric contraction, but maximal eccentric. That's why the force velocity curve looks like this. That, which is 100%, this is eccentric training. That's the only way that you can lift more than you can lift, is to lower it, okay? There it is, towards the end of the strength phase.
Okay. Number 2. Please demonstrate, or you can talk about them, 3 exercises to help rehab and strengthen the elbow, such as tennis elbow. We'll just take tennis elbow as an example.
Tennis elbow depends on really what the cause. A lot of tennis elbow is the wrist. And one of the things that we do here is a lot of grip training. So pinch grip, hold grip, hook grip. So the roller is one of them, okay? Isometric holds, farmer's walks is another one, wrist curls is another one. So those are 3 typical things. The key thing is, why are you getting the elbow issue? If you're getting the elbow issue because you don't have enough external rotation, all right, then you got to deal with the shoulder, because what you're doing is you're compensating here with the wrist and it's blowing out the elbow. So you can do all this you want and it's still going to happen. If you're not loading with the core and you're trying to load here, all right, then that's going to happen. So I would make sure that the core is loading like a bow. You have good external rotations where you can do with rollouts and stuff like that, and then I would strengthen the wrist. That combination should take care of the tennis elbow.
Got it. All right, number 3. When doing sport-specific training, is it more important to train the muscles involved in the sport, or to simulate the sport itself as much as possible?
I
think it just comes down to functional training for sports.
Yeah, well, it's a progression. You have general training here, you have special training here, and you have specific. Okay? This is what we know as functional training, usually right in here. Okay? This is bodybuilding, let's put it this way. This is general, normal strength machines, lifts and all that. And then specific here, you have the sport-specific movement resisted. So heavy bat swinging, heavy ball throwing, that kind of stuff. All right, this in here can look very, very, very robot-like, and it can look like this. So for example, a medicine ball throw would be right around here, okay? A windshield wiper laying down would be around here. So where would it fit? Well, if you're doing this like this, the sport-specific stuff fits over here. But with us, it's the hybrid. We do a traditional move here in a triplex, which we stick that one in there. We can go in here, put that there, and if we want to, we can go that. Okay? This, normally I go pre-season. This is the whole functional training that's put right in there.
But isn't this specificity the more specific, not really overload work, but actually more of the sport itself? So it would be, from a baseball perspective, it would be a pitcher throwing the baseball and not necessarily throwing it.
That would be here. That would be in practice. Okay, and of course these are all gray lines. Okay, this would be a heavy ball program where you're throwing, you know, half a kilo, 300 grams, 400 grams, whatever. Okay, you know, band resistant stuff. Okay.
All right. Okay. This has to do with squatting. We've talked about squatting a number of times, but I think it's always worth hearing again. This has to do with, you know, in the powerlifting community, they talk about squatting where your hips have to be below the crease of the knee. what's really accurate? Is it that you have to have your hips below the crease of your knee? Can your thighs be parallel to the floor? What if your hips are a little bit above your knee? What's right? What works?
For what?
For squatting.
For squatting for what? Because everybody like squatting, and I'm going, okay, the reason that we select a squat is squatting for what? And is squat the best exercise? That when you start asking for what, all of a sudden what seems to be very clear is not clear at all. Squatting for what? Squatting for powerlifting, you have to follow the rules. So if it says greater trochanter to the patella, then that's the line they throw. You got to get there or the lift is no good. But if you're talking about squat for hypertrophy, squat for vertical jump, squat for running, then it's a whole different ballgame. And the question is, how deep do you have to squat in any sporting activity? The answer is not very deep. So most squatting that you can do, you can probably get away with 90 degrees of knee flexion and be fine. You know, you don't have to squat that parallel, below parallel, and all that for sports performance. If you needed to be good at the squat to be good at sports, you know, track and field athletes, baseball, volleyball, basketball, they would all be terrible. Those are all terrible squatters, and they're high jumpers, fast runners. So the squatting, I think the squatting is a great exercise, but I think it's overrated in terms of specificity, effectiveness, versus the skills that you need and the injury potential that you have short-term and long-term.
Right. The question was phrased more toward the powerlifting community. So that being said,
then powerlifting, you got to go to parallel.
Right.
You got to go to parallel. Whatever the powerlifting community says that is legal, you got to do. I mean, you can't have a home run if you don't go over the fence. I mean, infield home run on errors, but if you want a home run guaranteed, you put it out in the park. Done. Guaranteed. So if you want a legal lift, you got to do a legal lift. Like the pause here. Well, is the pause good for training? Is the pause necessary for powerlifting for it to count? You best believe. You got to touch, go, boom.
I know that was a big question. I don't remember who asked it, but did that answer your question? I think it was Pedro. Did that answer your question? Okay.
You got to decipher the difference between sports performance and the benefit of a lift. Okay, if the lifting is part of a sports performance or sport, it's got to follow the sport rules. Now, an exercise for performance enhancement, wide open. Now you're looking at a whole different animal.
But I got one last question left. How can we determine a triathlete's training volume for a half Ironman and establish a solid aerobic foundation without accumulating a whole bunch of junk miles in the process? So, Gabe, that's your question.
Yeah.
You want to kind of,
So the mileage for, let's just say, a beginning program, how much mileage should the volume be for a run?
For running,
Yeah.
depends on the event.
The event's 13.1.
So half an Ironman,
Half marathon.
half marathon. I would say that the beginning. Here's another thing. How long is the program? Because if the program is 6 weeks, you got to start at a higher volume than if the program is 12 weeks. How much time are you giving me?
So let's just say 12 weeks.
12 weeks. You can start with a 5 mile to 7 mile a week volume and be fine, because what I'm going to have you do at the end, all right, is what am I going to have you do at the end? If the race is 13 miles, I'm going to have you do leg cranks, okay, anywhere between 2 and 4, right in there, and then you're going to go into a 6 to 7 mile run. So I got to get you ready for this. So fast backwards 12 weeks, where do I have to start running to get you ready for this? I don't have to run you, Jesus, if I run you 5 miles in 1 week, where I run you 2, and 3, that's 7. As my 2 becomes 3, and my 3s become 4, 5, 6, and I start packing my leg cranks in front, I'm going to have so much time that I can't possibly start you too high. This is the last thing you're going to do with me. About 10 days out to run 13. So not much. We already talked about that. When you run the sprints, all right, we normally say 50% of the race volume, or the whole race volume inside of the entire week. But when we went to the sprints, triathlon sprints, if you did that number, I mean, you'd like be running for 700 yards and be over. you'd be running 1/4 mile today, and the training would be over. So we're running into a training for the event versus training for recreation and fitness. So that has to be rethought. That big formula that we use for the long Ironman, professional Ironman, we can't use that for the sprints and the shorter distances. Because we're going to have to start higher. So normally, what would you run for something like that? 10 miles, 11 miles, 12 miles per week? And then kick it up to about 20 or 30, right? It doesn't fall within our but I'm going to tell you, from a performance standpoint, I don't need you to run more than 5 to 6 miles the first week if I got 12 weeks to prepare you for a half a marathon. From a performance standpoint, I don't need you. It's not a whole lot of training. So if you want more training for fitness and because you love the stress management and all that, then I got to figure that out.
Good. Good. All right. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks for episode 7. If you have any questions, you can email me at adam@ihpfit.com or rio@ihpfit.com. See you in a couple of weeks.